If airport traffic and the TSA weren't bad enough, how'd you like to get stuck sitting next to this guy?
You tell the flight attendant and your dad dies.
Red Eye is a 2005 thriller starring Rachel McAdams, Cillian Murphy, and was directed by Wes Craven. Horror fans know Wes Craven for movies like The Hills Have Eyes, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream. But Red Eye is one of his hidden gems that not many people talk about, so I thought it was time to do a review. Lisa's a hotel manager flying home from Texas to Miami after attending her grandmother's funeral. Her flight gets delayed, so as she's waiting for her flight to board, she strikes up a conversation with another passenger named Jackson. He seems like a nice enough guy. As they board the plane, she finds out she's seated right next to Jackson. They continue their conversation, but suddenly he reveals a darker side. Moments after takeoff, he reveals the true reason he's on board the flight. He's an operative in a plot to assassinate the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security, and Lisa is the key to his success. The Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security is staying at her hotel, and Jackson wants her to have him change rooms. He also reveals that he knows her father and threatens to kill him if she doesn't comply. She struggles with that decision, but finally does decide to make the call to her assistant, Cynthia. But suddenly the airphones stop working. Of course, this causes some tense moments since she can't make the call to the hotel or contact her father to make sure he's okay. Once the phones are back up and running, she makes the call and gets the rooms changed. Jackson agrees that once they land and everything's okay, they'll make sure her father is unharmed. They land and are ready to exit the plane when Lisa makes a bold move and is able to get away from Jackson. Now Jackson is chasing Lisa through the airport and the city as Lisa tries to get to her father. This is where the real action begins, and there's some pretty good chase scenes through the airport and the city streets. Lisa has to not only try to get the deputy secretary out of harm's way, but also make sure her father is okay. Jackson is relentless in his pursuit of Lisa. I really enjoyed Red Eye and have watched it a number of times. The storyline is very interesting. Jackson is just using Lisa and her father as pawns in his assassination attempt. The casting of this movie was great. Rachel McAdams always seems to do a good job, and she's great in this movie. And Cillian Murphy has the perfect look for the villain. I know behind the scenes he pushed really hard to get this role, and I'm glad he did. He's a good-looking, charismatic guy, but he can turn on a sinister, creepy look. Just perfect for this role. It's also pretty impressive that he can cover up his strong Irish accent. As far as the production, it's shot well considering about a third of it takes place inside the airplane. They did a good job shooting in such a confined space. Although they didn't film in a real airplane, they actually built a set. As far as special effects, they did a nice job making the airplane flight and turbulence look realistic. There's a really cool explosion scene that looks realistic because it was a real explosion. And here's some interesting trivia. The obnoxious customer that Cynthia has to deal with isn't even an actress. She's the head of marketing for DreamWorks. But when Wes Craven met her, he just felt she'd be perfect for the role. I think for a non-actress, she does a pretty good job. As far as bonus features, there's outtakes and bloopers. A featurette called Making of a Thriller at 30,000 Feet, where you can see behind-the-scenes work and how they constructed the aircraft set. And another featurette called Get Inside the Mind of Wes Craven, the master of suspense. There's also the director's commentary by Wes Craven. Red Eye gets a rating of 4.5 out of 5. Definitely worth a watch and worth purchasing if you find a good deal.